Oh boy. Good morning, good afternoon. All. Welcome to a live stream. I know it's the middle of the day. I know it's lunchtime. I know there's not tons and tons of people about right now to tune into a live stream, but hopefully those maybe on a lunch break at work, in the office, can tune in and talk all things Fulham after. Oh, what a night! What a night! I would have gone live later, but my girlfriend's taking me out for dinner tonight, which is lovely. So can't be done this evening. So we go live now. Just recorded the Fulhamish podcast as well. So that was really good fun. And what a night, eh? We beat them lot down the road 2-1, thanks to Mark Cucurella's stupidity of getting himself sent off, and then Fulham scoring goals from Raul Jimenez and Harry Wilson, of course. Harry Wilson scoring just before half time. It was disallowed for offside. I did feel as if it was going to be disallowed as the goal went in. I did feel like Raul had come from an offside position. Alas, Fulham still won the game. And having 10 men, or playing against 10 men did make the task a tiny bit easier. It did feel like Fulham had more space on the ball. They were recycling the ball quite quickly and making chances and attacks happen. There was a 5-10 minute period where Fulham slacked off a little bit. I put it down to fatigue. I think that you look at Berger and Kearney as two midfielders, and I thought I don't think they're gonna see through the 90 together for sure. And it proved to be the case that we sort of dropped off a little bit. Chelsea were able to bypass us, and they ended up creating quite a lot of opportunities in a short space of time. Fulham had players ready to come on. I think Lukic being one of them. I can't remember who came on as well. It might have been Traore, but basically what had happened was because they were having so many corners, you never really make a change when you conceded a corner, and then they score, and then you bring on the players. So if we'd have made the subs 5 minutes earlier, would it have made a big difference? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Fulham go on and win the game. They go up to what would have been 8th in the table. We dropped down to 9th because Newcastle won dramatically against Leeds. And it's amazing what Fulham have done now. We've gone from 4 points above the relegation zone a month and 2 days ago to 3 points off the top four. And that's down to the most remarkable. Even last season, when we were unbeaten throughout the whole of December, I was like, this is a great run of form. We played Arsenal at home, we played Liverpool away, we played them lot away, and we won. But this has been different because Fulham have had 3 players go to AFCON. They've had the injuries to Muniz, Sess, Tete, and King. So that's a maximum of 7 players out at once for one of those games. Obviously, Sess has come back now, and yeah, we're still unbeaten. 2 draws to start the year, and then a win last night. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable what Fulham have managed to do. And I'm so buzzing and so pleased for everyone at the club. I think it's fantastic, but we don't stop there. We've got a big game on Saturday in the cup, in a competition we want to do well in, and then we go to Leeds and then host Brighton before we go to Old Trafford. So and within the midst of all that, it's the transfer window as well. It's absolutely crucial that Fulham get players in the window, and we're 8 days in. Nothing seems to be on my radar, at least, close now, but I feel like things are going to ramp up for sure. It's actually quite refreshing to have a week off from Saturday to Saturday. With Fulham have had so many midweek games, and with the festive period and stuff, so many games, that I feel like that week between Borough and Leeds really will be quite a big week for Fulham, whether they can get some deals over the line. Then obviously a week before the Brighton game, and then obviously 6 days before, was it 6 or 7 days actually? 8 days before the Man United game. So lots to do, lots to be excited about, lots to be happy about. And let's go through the game as well. Put in your comments down below, and we will discuss all. I just want to quickly say, I made the point after the game, Raul Jimenez's contributions, Harry Wilson's contributions since, you can go all the way back. Raul Jimenez has played 15 games in a row, right? With Muniz being injured, with JKA not playing. So his contributions, and even 2 or 3 games into that run, people were saying Raul is completely hopeless. He's useless. I remember seeing comments saying he's useless. He is hopeless. We're not going to score any goals because he's up front. Look at him now. And it just takes time sometimes. And at 34 to be playing this level of football consistently and scoring and producing, he won us the points against Forest, he won us the points against West Ham, was brilliant against Liverpool, was very good against Palace, hit the post against Palace, scored last night. I mean, the guy is producing and some, and what a celebration as well. Someone's put in the comments a little FIFA 15 or whatever, 16 fish celebration that I certainly have done a few times when playing foot champs down the years, or even whatever, division rivals or whatever it's called, seasons. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Harry Wilson as well. And I love this. I love the system. I love how we're getting Smith Rowe and Wilson really close to Rao. I like the two in midfield giving us some extra bite. I like the width coming from Castagna and Robinson, or in this case, Sessegnon in the second half, who was brilliant linking up with Kevin when we were back to a 4 as well. And I was really nervous at halftime because it was, what was it at halftime? 0-0. Cuenca was on a yellow. He took off Cuenca. I think the feeling from Marcus Silva was, we're a man up. We can't play a 5. We'll play a 4, so we get an extra man in midfield, get the wide players on at some point, whether that be Kevin or Traore or whatever, or Cess. Obviously, he went to left back. And we need to go for it. And that's exactly what we did. We went for it completely. And even when they equalised, we could have been like, oh. But you have to understand, we were a man advantage to take the game by the scruff of the neck. That 5-10 minute period where they had the chances with Palmer and Delap, and then they eventually scored. Frustrating as it was, I was really, really disappointed to see them score because we. But when Andre Santos hit the bar, under the bar, he was right under the crossbar, and his header hit the crossbar after 20 minutes, and that what led to the red card. I think no, it was just after that, whatever. Or maybe it was because there was an offside in there. When he hit the bar from that range, I was like, oh, this could be our night, you know. They've missed a chance from a yard out, where if Santos basically downward header, he'll score. But because he's sort of level with the crossbar, his header comes off the crossbar. And yeah, there was just so much positivity around the place. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant. And again, 1-1, you're thinking, come on, get behind the team. And that's what the fans did. And we responded in turn with some brilliant play. Even Kevin at 1-0 came close with the shot, the side netting. Harry Wilson with a header, he got in behind like he did against Cucurella, but this time his header didn't get over Sanchez, who caught it. But then he's so clever, Wilson, right? He gets into this area. He finds a really neat pass into Smith Rowe at a tight angle, goes for goal, good save. And then it falls to Harry Wilson, and what a touch it was. What a touch it was. I think it was cleared by someone and it fell to Wilson. What an amazing touch to take it down and then shoot with his right foot, and it goes in off James. And I thought Fulham saw out the game pretty well. There's always going to be a bit of pressure, you know, the quality of the players that they have, and then suddenly they've got a bit of the ascendancy, and we're sitting back a little bit. I can understand it. I was fairly frustrated with the way that Fulham was sitting off them a little bit, but when we did get the ball, we were running into space, and then obviously Kevin with the rainbow flicks. I thought what was one of the best things about last night was one, we dealt with playing with 2 right-footed centre-backs in the second half, for sure, fantastically well. And 2, Sessegnon's link up with Kevin was brilliant as well. So many positives from last night. That's my take on things. I have plenty more to say on it, but let's get into some comments as well. Let me just take this charger out, actually. If I can get it out. There we go. Okay, so just brilliant. So let's go through some of the comments. We'll start on Twitter. Watching Diop throughout the game yesterday was so thoroughly professional, just like Cuenca, but also his communication to the bench through the game shows his leadership in the group. Diop's been brilliant. I mean, he really has. We've got Bassi away on AFCON. Cuenca's come in for Anderson, but when Diop's come in this back 3, back 5 in the last couple of games, he's been magnificent. Really good leadership, like you say. Really good communication with Marco Silva, and in the Liverpool game as well, after we scored the first goal. And yeah, just brilliant. And it's really good to see. And I know there's interest from Paris FC to sign Issa Diop. I just think that we can't afford to lose any players right now. We don't think we're going to entertain any offers right now until at least we bring in players. But even then, 1 in, 1 out would basically leave us in the exact same situation. So really good to see. It was good to see Cess back yesterday. Link up between him and Kevin was great and changed the dynamic of the game. Robinson's been good. It's been good too so far. So hard to pick between the two for me. And that's the thing, that the relationship between Robinson and Kevin, albeit is very, very promising, has very has loads of potential, but hasn't quite worked so far in terms of producing goals, assists, etc. But from the first minute of Cess coming on the pitch, it felt as if Fulham were um, really dangerous down that left hand side. There was some really good link up play, and produced some good things. And Cess being back just gives us another option in the wide areas as well, in the forward line and at left back. So when it comes to the FA Cup game on Saturday, I'd imagine he probably starts at left back, in my opinion. But and I think Fulham will go back to a 4, but at least it gives us another option if we want to bring on Robinson. You can push him further forward. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to a Saturday schedule. It will definitely ease the load of the players. We'll have the AFCON players back hopefully very, very soon as well. Muniz will come back soon. King and Tete, we're not really sure, but I don't imagine Tete will be too long. But and then plus, if we can bring in some players as well, we're in a really good spot, not only on the pitch, but then you look at the table as well. We're 3 points off the top 4. It's amazing because you're 9th, but you're 3 points off the top 4, and you've got teams like Newcastle above you and Brentford above you, and you're thinking, okay, but it's really positive right now. I mean, it really is fantastic. I mean, last night I feel he wasn't as involved, but I don't think he necessarily needed to. When they went down to 10, not knocking him in the slightest, but you put him in that position, he's going to score 9 out of 10 times. That's the thing. Like Raul Jimenez, with the amount of minutes he's playing, he's always going to maybe look at times like he's going lost in games. But when you need him for those key moments, and the key moments are when the ball's at the wide areas, you need him in the box, or when we're Fulham in possession, he drops deep to receive the ball, and he did that brilliantly in both times last night, on both occasions. For obviously the offside goal where he sort of dropped in and came from an offside position, of course, but linked up the play really well, and he ran his socks off. There was even a moment in the second half where the other team had the ball and it was sort of on the touchline or near the touchline, and Raul just came sprinting over to try and collect the ball. I'm not sure what happened in that phase, but the desire to win the ball back, the work rate he's putting in for the team is incredible. And he doesn't need to have these 10 out of 10 performances, Raul. All he's got to do is stay alive in the box. Like even against West Ham, didn't play brilliantly, and then suddenly he's the fox in the box and gets the winning goal. Didn't play brilliantly against Forest. At times he was good in the game and obviously scores the winning penalty. But in terms of effectiveness and what you need from your striker, he's delivering. And across this period of the 6 games unbeaten, even a little bit before that, he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. Him and Wilson for me have transformed the season with their goals, with their assists, and it's been a joy to watch. It really has been. In the back 5 system, do you think Cesc can be used instead of Castagna? I know it's wrong side for him, but I know he was willing to fill there before. Do you think? Yeah, it's interesting. So if you could play at right wing, you can imagine you could play at right wing back as well. But I think Castagna, I know he's sort of seen as maybe the weak link, but I think he had a good evening last night. It's nice to see him get as high up the pitch as maybe Robertson does as well, and putting balls into the box. Castagna's a safe pair of hands. I wouldn't necessarily switch Sessegnon over there for the sake of it. I think if it was enforced, if Castagna was injured or completely blowing and needed to come off, then maybe that's an option. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Cesc can produce over the next few weeks, because obviously he's Fulham through and through, and you can see that passion from him last night in a few of those snaps after the game. The Kevin and Cesc link up works up so well. It does. It's fantastic. How good was Cesc and Kevin link up? Brilliant, as everyone's saying. It's fantastic. Did you see Gusto? Yeah. I don't know what he was trying to do. It wasn't even a penalty. So, and players really should be punished for that. I mean, for me, I know he has no one around him. He almost feels like he's getting away with it. There's cameras everywhere. The crowd are obviously watching it. He's been filmed from the crowd. If the referee spots that, for me, it's a red card or yellow card offence. It probably would be a yellow, because it's not like violent conduct, or obviously it's violent conduct to the penalty spot for sure, but it's not like an impact on the other player. But it's a way of trying to gain an advantage by doing something that's, in my eyes, illegal on a football pitch. I think Gusto, if spotted, and you see this before, like I remember when England got the penalty against Ecuador in 2018, the World Cup. From the moment the penalty was given to the moment the penalty Kane took it, it was about 4 or 5 minutes of complete melee. Did I say Ecuador? I mean in Colombia. and they were just trying to tat up the kicking and scruff up the penalty spot. That for me needs to be punished. It's damaging the pitch to try and benefit your team and to try and hinder a penalty if it's going to be taken. Has to be a yellow card for me. Wouldn't even surprise if it's a red, because you're basically trying to cheat and you're trying to scuff up the turf of what a groundsman spent a lot of time getting ready for the game, and you're doing it because you want to see the penalty fly over or the player to slip or whatever. The unsportsmanship, doesn't surprise me. It comes from them. They're a horrible club. They're a horrible team, horrible players, and so incredibly unlikable. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But yeah, if that was spotted by the ref, he should be given cards for that. It wasn't even a penalty, so he's got 0 brain cells in that situation. Like Cucurella did in that situation with the red card. Who is your man of the match? Probably Harry. Probably Harry Wilson, because he was just buzzing everywhere, wasn't he? Brilliant. Sander Berge was really strong. I can understand why you say it. I try not to say the C word. I think I've said it once on this stream. I managed to go the whole evening last night without saying it, which was good. Jimenez for that celebration was brilliant. Afternoon, Jack. What a time to be a Fulham supporter. It's brilliant, isn't it? And the funny thing about it is you go back a month. And I remember this distinctly after the Palace game. I remember it distinctly after the Newcastle Cup game. And people were saying, does Marco even deserve a new contract? Well, look how things have changed. I've never doubted Marco. I know there's been times where he's made rash substitutions that haven't benefited the team and it's cost us whatever. But you have to understand that the philosophy that Marco Silva brings to this team, he basically will go out to try and win every game. It doesn't matter who we're playing. And that can cost us at times because we're a little bit more open, a little bit more expansive. I think we saw that against Newcastle in the league for sure. But we'll always look to win games. Even, you concede so late to Liverpool, you could really slump your shoulders and be like, oh, well, that's that then, hard luck. But no, we still come out with a flying goal from Harrison Reed. I know it's a pot shot. I know it's 1 in a million, but we still score. We still create that opportunity. And yeah, even conceding 1-1, but then being a man up, I can still understand the motivation to be like, right, well, let's kick on from here. If it was 11v11, it might have been a little bit more difficult, but we still managed to win the game, and I thought it was definitely going to be our night. And yeah, it's such a good feeling to beat them. It was great when we beat them a few years ago with Vinicius scoring, but that was at the Putney end, and this in front of the Hammersmith end was just extra special for me. And the man of the moment, Harry Wilson, scoring another goal. Jimenez has been brilliant. I love it, absolutely love it. Berger much better last night than against Palace. Absolutely, he was brilliant. Sander Berge, he was everywhere. If Wilson carries on how he's playing, do you think he will leave? There's some big clubs coming for him. I was speaking to the guys, I think Sam and Hugh, I want to shout Sam and Hugh. I was on the bus with last night on the way home, and we were talking about this. If he goes, first of all, I think he's going to sign a contract, in my personal opinion. If he went to a Tottenham, if he went to who else? Tottenham's the only one of the top six teams I could see them coming in for, going in for Wilson. But then I think they might go in for Jared Bowen, if West Ham go down, which looks not fairly likely, but it looks pretty much on the cards. I don't know, but I think the lack of game time he would get. He's not going to go to Tottenham and play every week. He's not going to go to Liverpool and play every week. He's not going to go back to Liverpool. He's not going to go to Arsenal, City, United, the other top six side, and play every week. Where he's going to play every week and get enough minutes to sustain him and make him feel happy is a club like Fulham. And I don't see why you would go sideways to a Palace or a Brighton. I mean, Leeds obviously were in for him. I think Leeds might stay up. So Leeds. He knows the system. He's settled here. His family are here. He knows Silva. Silva loves him. The fans love him. It's a no-brainer for me that he signs a new contract. If he wants to go abroad into Europe, then fair enough. But to be in the Premier League spotlight, which is where you really want to be if you want to be sort of the centre of it all, especially for the Wales point of view as well. If obviously they get into the World Cup, then he'll want to finish the season strong. For me, it makes sense that he signs the contract. Francis seems confident he's signing the contract. I've heard good things. I've heard really good things. The way Silva said it, like his family are really happy here, etc. He said it last night. And I was thinking, oh, that's a good sign, obviously. maybe he doesn't want to give too much away. But this whole thing has rumbled on since the summer, at least, since he signed the extension or triggered the extension the club did. For me, it's a no-brainer he signs at Fulham. This is the perfect place for him, and we can build around him. The fact he can play in the central position when we play a 5, the fact he can play on the right-hand side and still produce is brilliant. He's such an intelligent player. The way he won the free kick against Cucurella, the way he made the pass for Smith Rowe to lead to the goal, the touch over, I think, Hato, and then the shot into the corner. I mean, this is just incredible, intelligent wing play, central play, striker's instinct or forward's instinct to score goals. And it's just, I would love for him to sign a new contract. And if he does, I think that's going to be the most celebrated thing all season for me. And then I hope Silva then follows. That's really my feeling. Having Sessegnon back is such a huge boost. Exactly. Kevin and Sessegnon chemistry was great, really suit each other. Yeah, it was so good to see. Compare that with Robinson and Kevin, who haven't been disastrous. They just sort of haven't really clicked yet. And it felt from minute one of Sessegnon being on last night that they really clicked. I think getting Wilson close to Jimenez has been a revelation. Made them both perform better. Exactly. They've been telepathic in their link up. It's brilliant to see. Jamie, classic dirty culture from them. Don't know who Jamie is. BBC thanks Danny Murphy among many starting to tout Harry Wilson for a move. Does that worry you? I think the context of what Danny Murphy was speaking about, as if like staying at Fulham wasn't an option. But I'm really struggling to think of a team where he's going to sign for in the Premier League and play as many minutes. And Everton, as he does at Fulham, he's so settled here. It makes so much sense. I personally just wouldn't understand why you'd want to risk it and go to another club and not play as many minutes in the peak of your career, in these really crucial years of your career. He's one of the most important players we've got, regardless of signing Chukwueze, who can also play on the left. It allows Wilson to play on the right and bring Kevin off the bench. Like, Fulham have got to do everything they can, as Marcus Silva said last night. I feel like it's more likely he signs than doesn't, in my opinion. And I really hope that comes to fruition. Thought by the end of the game we'd be booing their whole team, Tosson, of course. Then all the acting from Delap, Caicedo, and Palmer. I mean, they were pathetic last night in terms of losing their heads after the red card. To get 3 subsequent yellow cards after that is a different level of brainless, not managing the game right. And I think that comes from, I don't even want to talk about it, but their culture this season. I think Maresca's a bit of a hothead, and it's been strange the way that obviously has broken down and he left the club. I think obviously they got that youngster McFarlane in who doesn't have much experience. He's under 21, and then they got Rossini up in the stand. So I think Rossini is a really good guy and a level-headed guy. But hopefully he doesn't sort that out because it's funny to watch. But yeah, disciplinary issues for those lot. And Silva got a yellow card because he basically waved an imaginary card. Apparently, that's what he said after the match. I believe he's out of the Borough game and not Leeds because it's an FA competition. So we will see. We will see. That Cuenca pass in the Wilson offside goal, just phenomenal. Watch it back and admire it. Again, Wilson's breaking the line. Sorry, Cuenca breaking the line with the pass, where he found Jimenez in the game against Liverpool, and he does the same sort of pass. I really want to watch it back again. I've watched the highlights back a few times, but not the extended highlights, which are out on YouTube. I watched Match of the Day just before going on Fulhamish as well. That's nothing interesting. I thought that was going to be a big breaking story there from Fabrizio. Kevin was class when he came on. Really think that that's the best way to use him this season, and then become a main starter next season, of course. And it's, again, we come back to this argument of patience. Like, you've got to have patience with these players. They're not. It's very rare players. I mean, okay, Igor Thiago, but I suppose he's had a season last season, even though he was injured. Very rare a player just comes in and just clicks like that, right? And Kevin is going to take time, but we're seeing better cameos from him. And over time, he will get better. And over time, he will be a starter player. And over time, he'll get that synergy and that chemistry with Robinson and Sessegnon or whoever's at left back. And we'll start to see better things from him. I thought it was a really strong run and shot. I mean, it was a decent effort when he hit the side netting. I thought it was in for or 1 second. But yeah, it was really, really encouraging to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kevin can produce in the next few weeks, and obviously going forward, he's such a young player as well. He's got such a long contract. Any updates on King, Tete, Muniz likely return date? Muniz is mid-Feb. I'm not sure on King and Tete, and I'm actually not at the next press conference against Borough tomorrow, but I will get the audio, so I'll be able to put up all the quotes as usual. Does it worry you that due to current form, the board may feel feel that investment is not needed currently? Marco won't be. Marco will still demand it. There's no way in hell, and I made this argument on the podcast where I say I hope the board don't get complacent and think, oh well, we don't need to invest now. We're safe. There's no way because Marco will be saying, look, if you give me 2 or 3 signings in this window, not only are we going to stay up, we could push for Europe. This could be the difference between us getting Europe and not getting Europe. This could be the difference between us getting to the the 5th quarterfinal, semi-finals of the FA Cup. Now, if we want to go to Wembley, we want to have an FA Cup run. No, this whole thing, like, it's a valid point, right? But the ambition that the board seemingly are showing, and what Silva says that they're showing, and plus Silva's own ambition himself, they'll be thinking, we want to keep Marco Silva long term. What's going to make him happy? Well, signing the players that we didn't get him in the summer and help this squad. If they go, oh, actually, you know what? 31 points from 21 games. You're right. You can deal with this on your own. He would be livid if he said, well, so the reason we can't get to the next stage, the reason we can't push on is because you're not investing in. There's no way those conversations. Marco Silva, knowing him, would be at Ali Mac's door at 7 a.m. this morning going, you see that one last night? Yeah. If you give me what I want, we're gonna be up in the table. We're gonna be pushing up towards Europe. And they go, yeah, you're right. We want long-term success. You want long-term success. Let's give you what you want. Let's get on the phone to all these clubs and start signing some players. There is no way in hell. And he said this even after the game against Forest, Liverpool, whatever. It was one of the home games where he said, this good form, it might have been, I can't remember, one of the games, right? He said, this good form is not going to stop us in the market. You only want to add to the good feelings. You don't want to backtrack. You don't want to go backwards. It'd be like taking, if we signed 0 players in this window, it'd be like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back, because it'd be like, well, yeah. So that is my take on things. We have to invest. We will invest. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. I think he will sign as well, and Marco, yeah, hopefully. Jack, any news on Marco's contract? Yeah, look, I think it's. I'm still confident. I'm still really confident. The United situation made me slightly more nervous, but I think there's United is such a car crash. Honestly, the way they run is such a car crash. I really don't think that even with Marcus Silva's ambition, I really don't think that is the good place for him. You look at Thomas Frank, right? Someone said to me last night, oh, you've got to be worried about the Thomas Frank situation, because if he continues like this at Spurs, he'll get sacked, and then Marco Silva might be in the pipeline. Yeah, but if Marco Silva had any sort of, if he had any, if Marco Silva looks at that situation and goes, Frank left a really good thing at Brentford, left for a top 6 club because he has the ambition to do so. But look how like, I genuinely think that a middle of the table Premier League side like Brighton, like Brentford, like Fulham, like Everton, who are trying to push on to the next level, is a more attractive place to be than to be at a top 6 club, because of the expectation. And if it doesn't work, your stock's lower and suddenly you're scrambling, right? This is obviously, I've got a bit of bias. I want Marcus Silva to stay, right? And I don't really know why I'm talking about it, but I'm referencing the contract, obviously. I think he signs a new contract. I think everyone is in the same boat, thinking long-term. I just feel like, Frank going to, even Rossini going to them lot, I on a 6.5-year contract. There's no way he's there for 6.5 years. There's no way he's there for 6.5 years. Yeah. Big clubs have more money and resources, but it makes them make more rash decisions. Well, we'll give him a 6.5 year contract because we can afford to do so. You're going to be paying out that contract in a year's time. Crazy. Obviously, Rossini is going to sign that, isn't it? He's thinking, I'm not going to be here 6.5 years. But anyway, the Frank situation, I think they'll probably give him more time. I think Marco Silva, there's going to be a situation where I think the United job is going to be vacant up until the summer. I think either Glasner gets it or Iraola gets it or Xavi gets it. And I think that's that. I think that's that. I don't think Silva's going to get the job. And I don't, it's just not an environment you want to get yourself into. United are not going to fix themselves like that with a new manager. It's going to be, as Ralph Rangnick once said, open heart surgery from the very, very top. Since Jim Ratcliffe has come into the club, they haven't improved in the slightest. The culture at the club has got worse. Why would you want to go into that environment when you've got such a good thing going at Fulham, is my take. Yeah, I am quite strong on that. It annoys me that, like, it's almost like top six teams come and take very capable managers, and because of the expectation and the money and the fact that the Premier League landscape has changed so much where top six aren't the most dominant teams in the Premier League anymore. They are at the top, but in terms of like the getting into Europe and stuff, they can be overrun, as we've seen in the last few seasons. It can ruin a manager's legacy. It really can. I know they've got to perform. I know they've got to use the resources they've got to the best of their ability. But the Premier League, anyone can beat anyone. And teams like Fulham, teams like Brentford, Newcastle, better than Spurs, just better teams, better than United. Really, really is. Sorry, let's get back to the football on the pitch. Seeing as the contract is up in the summer, any other clubs allowed to talk to him at this point? That's my only worry. I'm not sure. I think that it's not like a player. I don't think that if it's like a player, it'll be only clubs from abroad. But I'm not that concerned about the contract situation until we get to the end of January and we see where the land lies. You know, have Fulham brought in what they need? Is Silva satisfied with the window? Then we start having those conversations. I think for now we just need to focus on what we need, and that is getting in players. Cess looked electric, absolutely. Thought Kevin linked up a lot better with Cess than Robinson. Yeah, that relationship will take time, absolutely. It's not that rare to see a new player click. Look at Chukwueze. Yeah, no, good point. But again, Chukwueze didn't get going until November, and obviously that's down to the timing of the signing. But I'm talking about a player who comes in and literally within his debut scores 2 goals and he just flies from there. I mean, it does happen, but then you come from I'm talking in the context of coming from a league like the Ukrainian league into the Premier League. It's such a different landscape, honestly, for sure. Without signings, we have a top 8 team all day. Yeah. So what do we do? What do we have with signings? And this is a team without 5 key players, 6 key players at the moment. So that's why it's so important. It looks like Pepe won't happen with the quoted price. Strand Larsen 40 million. Bad season, but a profile that suits Silva great? Or is it too much to spend on one player in January? I don't think it's too much to spend on one player in January, because if the ambition is there, you just do it. I just think that PSV don't want to. It's about the clubs who are selling. They don't want to lose a player halfway through the season, their key player. Strand Larsen's more open to the move because I think Wolves are beginning to cash in and being like, well, we're going to go down, so we need to get the best prices for our assets while we can before the summer. I don't think that Fulham are going to be first in the race for Strand Larsen. I think there's other clubs who are going to be able to not pip Fulham. I don't think Fulham are going to put in a bid or anything like that. I think there's other strikers on the list. I think Pepe is the long-term target. I think we probably will go in again in the summer. We'll probably go in again at some point in the window for Pepe and really push PSV to the limits. But if it doesn't happen, I think it does happen in the summer, in my personal opinion, or it gets closer in the summer. That means, for me, Tariq George is just the one. He's just the one you need. He covers areas centrally and wide, and then long term would be a great option as well. And then you look at then you see George as more of a wide player for the future, and then you sign Pepe in the summer. That for me would work out brilliantly, because then you're basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone by signing Tariq George. And he hasn't been like. Let me just actually check this, because I've referenced this so many times in the last 12 hours. Is he actually fit? No. Sorry, yes, he is. He's just not in the squad. The last game he played was a half against Cardiff, and he's been on the bench. He's played so little minutes this season. He was on the verge of joining Fulham. I've said it a billion times. If the relationship is still intact between the two clubs and the agent and the player, just do it. Just do that deal for 22 million. Even if they're like, well, you pissed us off in the summer, so you have to pay an extra 3 million. Fine. Fine. It's a 5-year deal. Amortization will take care of it. That's fine. Yeah, I feel like I'm being really aggressive this morning. I don't mean to be. I'm trying to. I'm passionate about how I think the direction of this club is going, and I think that there is definitely the direction that we're going in is up, and I just really want to bang home the point that we can do this if business is done, and I really obviously want to keep Silver. I'm obviously delighted with last night as well. So lots of adrenaline and passion driving through my veins. Slept brilliantly, slept like a log. But as soon as I woke up, I was like, right, let's talk about this situation that Fulham are in because it's fantastic. Good healthy perspective. Yeah. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well, Kevin. Kevin is 4 years younger than Chukwueze too. Important to be patient. Absolutely. Great point. Morning, Jack. Home after work and 2 hours sleep watching the match in Hong Kong. Worth it. I love this sort of thing. You know, fans from all around the world having to get up at awkward times to watch games and awkward kickoffs and not getting enough sleep and whatever. It's just when you win, it's just so worth it. When you lose, it feels horrendous, I'm sure. So fair play to you, mate. I'm really pleased that you managed to see us win. Happy for Berger for getting an assist finally after so many disallowed goal assists. Yeah, that's true. Realistically, Kevin was not a great buy if you take into account price. I'd completely disagree. Too high risk. I hope he improves, of course, but I'd rather spend less on someone more long term bets. If you think about the price, 40 million or wherever it was, 38 rising to 40, it's over 5 years. There's a 5-year deal with a club option over 6 years. I don't see it as I don't see it as not a great buy. I think it basically just goes against the point made above, which is all about patience. You know, if Kevin is here for 6 years, which he could be, you never know. 40 divided by 5 is like what? It's not 6. It's like you're paying in amortization. It's like £6 million a year for a player. And I think that the reason we signed him so young for such a price is because I think Shakhtar Donetsk and Fulham both agree that he's got a huge resale value. And right now you could say, well, he's not showing any signs of having any resale value at all. But just wait a year, like we did with Smith Rowe. Wait a couple of seasons where he's going to be 24 in 2 seasons' time. That's still very, very young. Wilson didn't hit his peak until he was 28. Football is all about patience. And the problem is in the game right now, there's not enough patience from fans. There's not enough patience from boards. There's not enough patience from the clubs, which is why we see players who are so promising, who have such promising futures, but because fans, or usually the clubs in this case, are not patient enough with these players, they don't reach their full potential. But there are some clubs like Brighton, like Brentford, hopefully like Fulham, who are like, no, we put a lot of money into these players. We're going to try and see them blossom and then sell them for more and sell them for more, and then just keep that sustainable model running. And I think it's really important that we stay patient with Kevin, for sure. That's my point. That's my take on things, for sure. If we sign someone tomorrow, how long before Silva actually played them in the first team? You tend to spend a month or so in embedding them. It's circumstantial, though. Like, embedding them could be because of where they've come from, family situation, injuries, or I think if you signed a player from them lot down the road in Tyreek George, who is keeping fit, you'd put him in the team. You'd put him in the team on Saturday. Not only because we need to plug those gaps because we have injuries, but because he's ready to go. I think it's a case by case basis. I wouldn't necessarily say that every single signing has been like, oh well, we have to wait a month for him to play. It could be pre-season. He has to get fitter. It's circumstantial. I agree. I get your point completely, 100%. If we sign a Hayden Hackney today, right now he's at Motspur Park doing a medical. Imagine he'd play on Saturday because he's ready to go, or he'd at least be in the squad on Saturday. It's a case by case basis for sure. If you sign a Gabriel Sara, who's playing football for Galatasaray tomorrow, I think he'd be in the squad on Saturday. If he's registered in time, of course. If he's registered in time, that's obviously a thing as well. You look at West Ham, right? They signed Pablo, who on the Friday, and he played. Well, he was on the bench against Wolves. Sorry, I meant Tati Castellanos. Pablo was on the bench against Forest and was signed the day before. So yeah, it was that I don't agree with what you said, but I can understand where you're coming from because of Chukwueze and Kevin and stuff. Like it's amazing that we signed them on deadline day and we don't really see them properly until August, till November. But then again, we signed Kevin on deadline day and we saw him in early September against Leeds. That's off the bench. And then it takes some time for him to get going anyway. But anyway, let's move on. I prefer George over Kevin at this time. Wills obviously doesn't like Kevin. I would say let's be patient with Kevin. But yeah, George would be a good option. When watching England under 21s for Josh King, Tyreek George has looked great too. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Another under 21s player who's got a lot of potential, who is at the wrong club because they've got a billion players and they keep swapping their manager and their ownership doesn't make any sense as well. So players like that, players with potential, just falling through the cracks because they're mismanaged. And you got a player like that, which we can see the potential in. He's 22 years old, or maybe even 23 now. Bring him into Fulham where he can play in our system, down the middle or in the wide areas, and he will flourish. Because guess what? We are not a car crash of a club. We know how to deal with players, and we don't have so many players that we don't know what to do with all of them. This is a club who have a bomb squad for players who are on 250k a week and can't even get in the squad. It's so badly run. And then you're thinking, oh, Marco Silva might want to join those sort of clubs. I get the ambition side of things, the European side of things, the trophy potential, but they're so badly run, in my opinion. We brought back a few loan players. Do you think? Oh, yeah. So, this is an interesting one for Luke Harris, right? We brought back Luke Harris yesterday. What's the reason behind that? I think it's probably more a point of Oxford don't have a manager right now. They sacked Gary Rowett and they haven't replaced him. He's not getting a ton of minutes. He's played quite a lot over the Christmas period, but not a ton of minutes. He scored a couple of goals. I think he scored a goal a couple of months ago, a month and a half ago. Maybe it's just a case of, look, it's quite an unsettling situation at Oxford right now. We need to find you a fresher loan. Or is he going to be part of the first team squad? I don't believe that he's going to come straight in and play as a number 10 or be a 10 option. Even though King's injured, I can understand it. It wouldn't surprise me if he's maybe on the bench on Saturday, maybe, just because we are light on numbers. But I think we'll probably most likely see him go back out on loan, maybe even down to League One. Who knows? Do you know if that was to pad the squad or to reloan them? I think we only recalled Harris, unless we recalled like Sanderson or Arojo or Tantum. I haven't seen that we've done that. Kevin is the closest we've had to a Sahar. That's a big point. It's a big statement. Just looked at Semenyo's first season for Bournemouth and then the player he is now. I think Kevin's performance has been pretty fine. Plus, Silva has taught us not to write off anyone. Exactly. Antoine Semenyo, when he was at Bristol City, he scored 2 goals against us in that season. I was like, he's a player. Always knew that he was a good player, right? Yeah, he looked really good for Bristol City. You go to the Premier League, it's a bigger fish, it's a bigger league, it's a more physical, demanding league. You would have to be an insanely good player to adapt to that within 2 or 3 weeks, or let's even say 3 months. It takes time. Now look at Semenyo. He's having his Man City medical. Football is a game that changes so quickly, right? And Kevin could go on a run of 5 or 6 games and score 4 goals and assist 2, and suddenly he looks a different player. Suddenly everyone's like, he was worth the money. And even then, you could say he's not worth the money right now, but in a year's time, when he's on his second year of his 6-year contract or 5-year contract with an option of a 6th, you could be like, he's probably worth 50, 40, 60 million now. We'll just see. We will just see. Take that. Just have a little patience. Have a little patience, like we did with Smith Rowe, and yeah, look at Smith Rowe now, and I think he is a player playing at the value of which we signed him for. I think he's now sort of showing us that he was worth the money we spent, and that was a 5-year deal as well. We've got another 3 years of Smith Rowe. We might as well have a street party. I mean, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Fulham are in a really good spot right now. Really good spot. Shall we figure out a way to keep Rao? Well, just offer him a new contract and hopefully he signs. But it's a difficult one with Rao because he might not want to. He might not want, because he'll know that we'll bring in a new striker, right? I don't know if he'll want to play third choice. Did anyone catch Harry lightly slapping the back of Tossin after Rao's goal? Watch the highlights if you missed it. I'm going to have to look out for that. Tossin got such a grilling by the club as well, levelling up. This is the thing. Football is funny. You've got to be really careful what you say because it could just come back to bite you in the arse. And I tell you what, Tossin, yeah, he may be on bigger wages and probably has a fancier house and a nicer car, but he got humiliated last night, absolutely humiliated. And that's what you do if you run down your contract to then flutter your eyelashes for the biggest rivals and leave for them. You're not going to get a nice reception, are you, when you come back? Which youth players do you think will be loaned out, if any? Yeah, that's a good point. It'd be nice to see Asenga get some League 2 minutes or League 1 minutes for sure. I think he's very, very key. That's the thing, like, he's key to the 21s. And if we're in the playoffs and you're missing Asenga players like that, like Amissa and Asasi, you'd be like, oh, well, it'd be nice to have them in the 21s. I think maybe that's one for the summer. I don't think we should be loaning out players willy-nilly at this stage, youth players. I think there'll be a focus on the under-21s who are back in action on Friday. And then from there, I think we'll see what happens in the summer. Patience is very important. I do hope Kevin does well. No, Will, I get your point. Like, I understand there's frustration from Kevin, but he's getting better even within the last 3 or 4 weeks. I do think there's a player in there. Can't believe we didn't sign Semenyo after he destroyed us in the Championship. I know. I mean, it's not a league we usually dip into for signings, to be fair, but Bournemouth did very well to get him, and they deserve all the praise for having that trust in him because, yeah, what a player. What a goal last night as well. I'm up for this street party you speak of. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I feel like doing somersaults and I'm not very flexible at all. I'm just so pleased with what's going on at the club right now. It's made this last month very, very enjoyable. One of the best periods of supporting Fulham I can remember. So it's been fantastic. Fans were turning on Silver a couple of months ago and asking for Leonard to be dropped. Brilliant example of how football can change. I made the point on the pod that basically after the Palace game and the Newcastle game, people were thinking, I'm not even sure we should be giving Silver a new contract. It's crazy how football changes. And actually, like, it's not even about, you could be like, oh, that's down to the players who are performing for him. Yes, but also the fact of the matter is we've changed system. And in the last 2 games, we've got 4 points from 2 top 6 teams. And that system has got the best out of Wilson and Jimenez, got the best out of Kearney and Lukic and Berger. I mean, it's fantastic. Marco Silva is the best coach we've had at the club in my time of supporting Fulham, for sure. Yeah, Roy Hodgson got us to a Europa League final. He's obviously a great guy and a great man and a club legend. But Marco Silva, for me, in terms of his adaptability, the way he's dealt with adversity and injuries and AFCON and stuff, it's been insane. After that Palace game, if someone had told me in a month's time you'd be like 3 points above the relegation zone in a real slog, I'd be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If someone had told me you'd be 3 points off the top 4 in 8th or 9th position and you've beaten your biggest rivals, I'd be like, huh? How's that work? Miracles, working absolute miracles with this team and enhancing the quality of players like Smith Rowe, like TC, like Wilson, like Jimenez. It's absolutely remarkable stuff. This Diop form will not be forgotten. Top professional, no sulking or anything from him earlier either. Sorry, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. The fans turning on Silver are insane. You can understand 4 losses in a row at one stage of this season. You can understand it. I think next time we're in a sticky spell, I think fans will remember this period. I don't think they'll go as hard on Silva, in my opinion. Predicted lineup for FA Cup this weekend. What sort of players could come in for the start? Sorry, I haven't been on Twitter for a while as well. I'll have to come back to that. Oh God, there's so many comments. Let's just get through these quickly. Lecomte in goal, Castagna, Diop, Cuenca, Cess, left back, and then Reed, Lukic, Smith Rowe, left Kevin, up front JKA, right Traore. It's probably how I'd go with things. There's some flexibility. They could play TC, could play Sander Berger. It just depends, really. That's what I would go off. Diop, TC, Reed. I think we need to keep them and try and improve the squad nonetheless. We need to try to keep them and try to improve the squad nonetheless. They're extremely reliable. Yeah, they're just good squad players. Will they be happy with that role, though, if we bring in new players? That's another question. Harry Wilson having his best season. Do you think he stays beyond the summer? At this stage, I think he's going to stay. Do you stay at as a back five for Leeds or back to the four? Oh, good question. I think it depends who's back. If Tete's back, maybe go back to a four. Hey, the three Nigerian guys might be back by then if they lose the semi-final to Algeria. I would probably go back to a four. I think it's a little bit more attacking impetus. But then again, the fives work really, really well. I think it's not even that defensive as well because we've seen so much attacking output from it. I don't know. I think we'll go back to the four against Borough. It would make sense to then just keep that going from Leeds, in my opinion. One of, if not longest serving manager in the last 60 to 70 years. Yeah, exactly. Does our lack of depth in attack force us to keep going to back five until the AFCON boys come back? I don't think it's a lack of attacking depth. I think it's more the fact that we had to adapt to play against these teams because we survived 4 games before that, or 3 games before that as a four without those, without Chukwueze, because they're only missing Chukwueze really in the forward line because Iwobi basically plays in midfield most of the time now. You've now got Cess back, which adds another option in the wide areas. Kevin's obviously playing well. You've got a natural 10 in Smith Rowe, even though King's out. So I think for me, I think that the 4 and 5 are very flexible and adaptable. But I think the 4 might make sense for the next few games. I actually think it's better for us if Nigeria win AFCON, better for squad morale, for sure. I agree. It would be nice to have the trophy winners in our team too. Yeah, like think of the buzz that they would bring. I remember obviously the fear was when they lost that World Cup playoff in the penalties. I was like, oh God, morale for them must be so low. Bassi missing a penalty as well. Like that's really bad. But you flip it, if they win AFCON, they come back absolutely. I mean, they're already 3 guys who love to have a laugh and a joke. You bring back a trophy with them and they're going to be doing cartwheels. So it would only enhance the squad. And if we're surviving without them, then fair play. Let's lose them for another couple of weeks. They win AFCON and we come back and they start flying for Fulham as well. Whilst we have Raul, I hope he's giving out penalty lessons, especially with Muniz. Anyone we sign needs to have close to his penalty stats. Don't want another Mitchell situation penalties. That's if we get penalties. I mean, even last night, maybe we should have had a penalty. We didn't get it. Only 1 penalty awarded this season, plus a shootout at Wickham. So, yeah, good point. Hopefully, we sign some penalty takers. Chaos of Zhao coming back. Chances of Zhao coming back. Bicycle kick last night was not too bad. His lack of minutes at Spurs has been alarming, where I think he's fairly unhappy with the minutes he's been getting. If Fulham are in the swim, do it. It would be great. Did you record Fulhamish earlier? Who was on the show? It was me, Sammy hosting, Dan Cook, and Peter Rutzler. Really good show. Went on for over an hour. Definitely tune in when that one's out. I think we're becoming an attractive team for a January move, especially in a World Cup year. Because if you come here, you ultimately end up holding a team in a European push and therefore well in a World Cup year. Agreed. I think is an attractive proposition for them. Really is attractive. And if we can put money on the table for players, I think players will want to come. And Marcus Silva's got great convincing skills as well. Do you think the likes of JK or Ridgen will start on Saturday? JK maybe. Ridgen might get a cameo, from in my opinion. Silva asking for a yellow is absolute genius. He knew he could get banned for Borough and start his record again. Yeah, that's true. Anyone heard about this link to Inter Miami midfielder? Transfer feed has us linked, but there's no article, bit random. I haven't seen it. Haven't heard about it at this moment in time. Footberger was brilliant last night. Just wish he'd shoot. Yeah, me too. What do we do with Luke Harris now? I think maybe loan him out again. Wilson needs a new deal. Absolutely. Kevin was a lot better yesterday than I thought. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we drew Liverpool and beat them with 7 first team players out. Well, 6 last night, but 7. I get the point. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. Robinson right now isn't good enough. Can't cross the ball and defensively looking so poor currently. I disagree. I think he's been really good. I think he's been decent. And he's still coming back from a long-term injury. It's going to take time to get back into the proper flow of things. But the performances he's put in since he's come back have been more than adequate for me. And now we've got the option of Cess as well. So to give him a rest on Saturday would be great. And then he comes back for Leeds. I think Robinson's been not at his sparkling best, but I think he's been good enough. Si, senor, absolutely. What a guy. Kevin is a good buy. When he hits the ground running, he already took on 3 players at them. And at once more development, he would actually get past him. Yeah, I think Kevin's going to come good. I really do. And get better and better. He was really confident last night. Put some respect on Kevin's name. Absolutely. Kevin has shown glimpses of brilliance, but not good enough. Confidence is key for him, and it's slowly getting there. We just need to be patient. Exactly. Comparisons to Chukwueze is a bit unfair. They came from different leagues and competitiveness. Chukwueze has the benefit of Bassi and Iwobi from international, where Kevin only had Muniz, who he knew previously, and he got injured quite soon after Kevin was signed. Yeah, probably difficult for him to adapt. Completely new environment. Obviously, over in London, I think he's enjoying himself for sure. Kevin, he's obviously having to learn the language as well. He's probably got the help of Muniz. And, yeah, all these factor into performances. It's not just sort of what happens on a Saturday or what happens on the training pitches. It's life, isn't it? You know, if you're in your job and something at home is going on, or you're not right in your head, it's going to affect your performance at work for sure. Everyone's been through it, and it applies to footballers as well. They're not robots. People who think Kevin is bad supporting Fulham, you are just goals and assist merchant and don't know much about football. Are you not aware how many counters Kevin has stopped from his key tackles or getting past players and frustrating them? He'll be a key player in 1 to 2 years. Yeah, I mean, having a go at the fans isn't the route I would take, but I understand the point. Like, yeah, he has tricks, flicks. His defensive work's been really good at times this season as well. Yeah, the patience is needed with Kevin, and once he gets that first goal, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great. Tantum and Dibley Diaz were both recalled from Chesterfield. Were they? Didn't know that. Let's have a look. They haven't put it on the website. Let me have a little checkled over read. Well, if I mean, Dibley Diaz being recalled and Tantum is great for the New Zealand under-21s. Chesterfield. Let's have a look. Ah, I didn't even see that. 22 hours ago. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, that's interesting because obviously Tantum had to cut his loan short last season because he was injured. The fact we've recalled them, it maybe is for numbers in the under-21s. I do seem to recall watching the under-21s earlier this season and thinking our squad looks a little bit thin. Maybe it's for the playoffs. Maybe it's for the rest of the under-21 season. I mean, Hayden Mullins will want to have these players available to him, and I think they are good quality. There was a stage last season where we had a midfield 3 of Dibley, Diaz, Ridgen, and King, and I was like, this is insane. So yeah, you got Chibi Nwoko. Obviously, we lost Donnell in the summer, so yeah, we are thin on the ground in terms of midfield options for the under-21. So maybe it does make sense. I don't think it's going to affect the first team, but well, maybe Tantum. I mean, Tantum is at right back, has sort of been on the fringes of breaking through. Maybe. I mean, this is all an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, we've done the Luke Harris thing. I think he gets loaned back out, but then again, you never know. Maybe when are we playing? We're playing next Friday. We're playing Friday against Ipswich, and then the following Friday before Leeds, we're playing United at home. I might try and grab Hayden Mullins afterwards and ask him about all these 3 players and see what the plan is for the season and get some more clarity on it. Is Aaron Lapalo B in a similar situation to Osmond, productive in the under-21s, but Silva doesn't think he has a future in the senior side? That's a really interesting question. I think Osmond had all the credentials to make it in the first team. But from what I understand, he made it clear that he wasn't going to sign a new contract. So Silva was just like, I'm not going to use you then. Because at the time, I remember Southampton away thinking, this is where you play Callum Osmond, right? But I understand it, as I sort of found out over the summer, that he wasn't going to sign a new deal, and therefore so it was like, well, if you're not going to sign a new deal, you're not going to get your first team chance here. You can go have it elsewhere. Not in like a bitter way, not in a harsh way, but I think that's just how football is. I don't know what the Aaron Lapola B situation is, because I think he signed a contract earlier this season as well, quite recently. I think maybe he's like his loan spell was not even League Two level. He went to Dagenham, Redbridge, and National League. So I think maybe he's just a couple of years behind, a year behind, maybe. I Aaron Lapilla B would be third striker next season if Jimenez leaves. I get the point. I don't think I don't see that happening, but I would love it to happen, if you know what I mean. Oh, Ben Jacobs, who was actually at the game last night. Understand Al Ittihad are not planning for any high-profile departures in January. The future of Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante expected to be clarified in the summer. Okay, that's not very interesting then. I thought it might have been they are open to selling them. Let's continue with the comments because they're all flooding through. Thank you very much for everyone for joining. We can sell Bender, Diop, and Adama. I think that's harsh on Diop. I don't think Diop needs to be sold whatsoever. Do you think we should pay the fee for Ricardo Pepe? I think yes. If we're really serious about long term, future, we should slap down what they want for Pepe, whether that be now or whether that be in the summer. If that would be a signing of intent for sure, it would give Muniz a bit of an alarm bell. But I think that you need two competitive strikers. I know that's discrediting Raul Jimenez, but if Jimenez doesn't stay, you have two very competitive strikers and a third option. I think that would be very, very good. Any new transfer rumors? Not for now, but definitely could change by the end of the day, by the end of the week. And whenever there is something that's concrete I can go with or that's new, I will definitely post it and go live about it. I think that there's definitely movement for midfielders. I think the forward line is going to be looked at as well. These things do take time. Has Zeppa signed? Not that I know of. I know he's got offers from Forest and Bournemouth. I really hope he signs because he is another really top talent. God, we've been going for an hour. That is whizzed by. Let's go back from the YouTube comments. Where were we? Oh, here we go. I believe when Mitrovic was here, he had a penalty scoring conversion rate of 66%, which is awful. Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? How good did Cess and Kevin look together? Very impressed. Very good, wasn't it? Robinson's crosses have been good. Yeah, I think he's a good crosser with the ball. Doesn't get it right all the time, but who does? You know what I mean? Leno won us that game. Yeah, the great save from Delap, wasn't it? Ball over the top for that red card was fantastic. Oh, yeah, in terms of that one, yeah. Leno was brilliant, both ends of the pitch in terms of distribution and saving from Delap's 1-on-1 as well. Some great crosses from Robinson last night. Oh, there you go. Kevin always looked like one of the happiest when he scored, which is nice. Yeah, I think he's loving it here. He must love it. He just needs a goal for himself. Emil is definitely a much better player than last season. Hope he can get some goals and assists, but still glad he is having such an impactful performances. Yeah, it's great to see. It really is. We're in such a good space. This could be the most positive space that Fulham have been in under Marco Silva. But then again, there's always that cloud of the contract and Wilson situation as well. So you got to just enjoy it for what it is, but hopefully it can continue for many seasons to come because it really is good. Smith Rowe looked amazing last night, backtracking for that key defensive header and causing them so much trouble up the field. So happy for him. Oh, me too. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I think we might end it here after these comments. I think Cess came on, did really well yesterday. Solid and calculated link up with Kevin, made him look a lot better too. Robbo is great, though so not sure he can fit both in the starting 11 though. I think you can. I think you can play Robinson left back and Sessegnon on the right or the left wing. And I think you might need to do that at some point. I know what you mean because they're both left backs, and I thought Cess did really well at left back, but you can play Cess further forward, and when he plays further forward, he scores goals. So I would definitely consider that. It's been done before. I don't see why it can't be done again. Great pod today, thank you. Oh no, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Brentford are doing well. Yeah, they're fifth. If Igor Thiago gets to call up the Brazil squad, it'll be a huge motivation for Muniz, and we'll reap the benefits of those performances. Yeah, could you imagine? That would be That'd be some. To be fair, Thiago's been. You have to give them credit. To be fair, they've actually turned things around quite incredibly, from losing Visser and Buemo to being fifth in the league under a rookie manager, or what was to be seen as a rookie manager. Obviously, not be the case, but they were still honking when they came to the cottage, and we'll have that over them. Back to the live stream. Good for a boring Thursday, mate. This is brilliant. It's nice to sit here at 1:30 in the afternoon talking Fulham to them lot 1. Are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Arthur Atta? I think it's a deal that can't be done. If Udinese are that strong on him not leaving, could be one for the summer. He looked a very promising player from the sort of the stats I've seen of him. Guys, I have to obviously plug Patreon before I go. I didn't put the link in any of the chats, but you can find it on my Twitter bio, Instagram bio. We got a new member this morning, which is lovely. £5 a month, $5 a month. I think $6, $7 maybe dollars a month because of the exchange rate. But you get really quite a lot of content, and hopefully there's going to be some player interviews as well that are coming in the near future, whether that be under 21s level or first team level as well. That's something I'll be doing, hopefully, because I have a target in mind I want to interview, but circumstances right now are making it quite difficult for that to happen. But yeah, Patreon is the place to be for lots more content, and it's been such a busy period. I'm looking forward to sort of after the Borough game to maybe take a couple of days off. But then again, like I say, off. There's going to be transfer rumors. There's going to be live streams. There's going to be lots to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. We beat them. We've done it. That's going to be in the history records forever. Nothing can be taken away from that. We deserved it, and we are going to enjoy it we're going to enjoy it in all its glory. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being here. You are the best support in the world. So thank you. Take care. And come on, Fulham. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and come on, Fulham.